So I want to start by asking you a question. Do you think you'd be good at giving a TED Talk? Okay. I'm Chantel Pratt, and my research uses psychology and neuroscience to better understand why some people perform better than others in a given context. I'm specifically interested in different brain designs and how they interact with our lifetime of experiences to shape the way we do complex, desirable things, especially as they relate to language learning. I'm so fascinated by this that I wrote a whole book about it called The Neuroscience of You: How Every Brain is Different and How to Understand Yours. But tonight, I don't want to focus for a change on what I know about how your brains work and what that might imply about the kinds of tasks you'd be good at. Because recently, I've become really interested in what you think about the kinds of things that you'll be good at. It's a concept called self-efficacy that was first introduced by psychologists in the 70s. But here's the thing. In today's day and age, where I can measure the exact aspects of your brain function that predict how well you will learn, your personal, subjective ideas about how well you'll perform in a given context are still probably the best predictors of how you'll perform. So why might that be? The most obvious answer is that when your brain predicts how successful you'll be in the future, it relies on past successes. So for those of you who said yes, maybe you were the captain of an award-winning debate team, or maybe you already have a TED Talk with 1 million views in your pocket, and you'd be pretty confident about how well you'd do in the future, and likely you'd be right. But I think there's something even more interesting that happens when we estimate how good we'll be at learning something brand new, like a natural language or even a programming language. And this is where my expertise in neuroscience and individual differences collides with my new passion for understanding self-efficacy. You see, some people are wired in a way that makes it easier for them to learn a new language. But what everyone shares in common is underestimating how freaking hard those things are. So you try and you struggle, and your brain does what human brains excel at. It comes up with a why story to explain your difficulties. So maybe your brain says, learning a language is hard and I need to practice more. That perspective has been called a growth mindset. But maybe you look around at other people in your Duolingo league and just say, I'm not that good at learning a language. As you might guess, these different kinds of stories have big implications on what you'll do next. People who have a high self-efficacy are more willing to stick with it when things get hard. And that kind of perseverance and practice is necessary for attaining all of the skills that we find useful in modern society. But there's an even more direct way that the way you think about your own capabilities influences how you learn. And this is because if your brain thinks you're going to be good at something in the future and it anticipates a future reward, it gives you dopamine right now. And that neurochemical not only makes you feel good, it creates this environment for rewiring and plasticity in the brain that actually gives you the mechanism for efficient learning. So let's go back to where this talk started. Do you think you'd be good at giving a TED Talk? Self-efficacy research suggests that those of you who said yes will perform better on average than those of you who said no. But if you said no to this or to anything else in your life that you really want to try, I think it's worth examining your why story. Are you comparing yourself to someone else whose effort that it took to get to that level is invisible to you? Or have you internalized personal or cultural stories about what it takes to be good at something or what kinds of things you should be good at? Either way, today, I hope I've empowered you to examine your beliefs about yourself and whether or not they're supporting or limiting your future potential. Thank you.